क्या आपने कभी सोचा है कि एक डॉल, एक गुदिया, सिर्फ एक खिलौना नहीं हो सकती? We see them in shops, in our homes, sitting quietly in a corner. उनके चेहरे पर एक permanent smile होती है. But what if that smile is not innocent? What if behind those glass eyes, something dark is watching you, waiting for a moment to move? This is not just a scary thought from a movie. This is the true story of a doll named Annabelle. She is not made of plastic and cloth. She is made of fear. Her story tells us that some things are not meant to be played with. They are portals to a world we cannot see, a world that is very, very dangerous. Annabelle is perhaps the most famous haunted object in the world. Her name is enough to make people feel a shiver down their spine. When we hear her name, we don't think of a child's toy. We think of a demon. We think of Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous paranormal investigators who fought this evil. They knew Annabelle was not just a doll. It was a conduit, a vessel for something inhuman. This entity did not want to play. It wanted to possess. It wanted a human soul. And it all started with a simple gift, a present for a young girl, which soon became a curse for everyone who came near it. This is a story that has been told many times, in books and in movies. But the fear is always real, because the doll is real. For many years, she was locked away, kept safe from the world in a special glass case. People believed the danger was contained, that the evil was trapped. But what if the lock was not strong enough? What if the glass could be broken, not from the outside, but from within? The story of Annabelle is a lesson. It teaches us that evil does not die. It just waits for its next chance, for the next open door. Her story is a constant, chilling reminder of that fact. Today is June 8th, 2025. The world is different now. We are connected by social media, where news and fear can travel faster than light. A new chapter in Annabelle's story has begun, a chapter filled with whispers and terrifying questions. The stories say she is no longer in her prison, they say she is free. The question on everyone's mind is not if she is out, but where she is now. Is she in a different country? Is she in a different city? Or is she closer than we think? The nightmare, it seems, has started all over again, and this time, the whole world is part of it. The story of Annabelle begins in the year 1970. A young nursing student named Donna received a beautiful Raggedy Ann doll as a birthday gift from her mother. It was a normal doll, the kind you could find in any toy store. Donna and her roommate, Angie, placed the doll on a bed in their small apartment. At first, everything was normal. The doll was just a piece of decoration, a happy memory from home. But soon, strange things started to happen. Small things. Things that were easy to ignore at first. They started noticing that the doll would move on its own. It was a very subtle change, but very unsettling. Donna and Angie would leave the apartment with the doll sitting on the bed, its legs crossed. When they returned, they would find it in a different position. Sometimes its arms were folded. Other times, it would be sitting on a chair in another room, a room they had locked before leaving. The movements became more and more obvious. They started finding the doll in different parts of the apartment, as if it was walking around when they were not there. Then came the messages. They found small pieces of parchment paper with messages written in a child's handwriting. The messages said things like, "Help us and help Lou." Lou was their friend, and he hated the doll from the very beginning. The two young women were scared, but they thought a spirit was responsible. They contacted a medium, a person who could speak to spirits. The medium told them a sad story. She said that the doll was possessed by the spirit of a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins. This little girl had died in that same apartment building many years ago. The spirit told the medium that she felt safe with Donna and Angie. She just wanted to stay with them. Feeling sorry for the little girl's spirit, Donna gave her permission to inhabit the doll. This was their biggest mistake, a very dangerous mistake. The activity did not stop. It became worse. It became violent. Their friend Lou, who always told them the doll was evil, had a terrifying experience. He woke up one night and felt like he was being choked. He looked down and saw the doll at his feet, staring at him. The next day, he was attacked. He heard strange noises from Donna's room and went to check. He felt a presence behind him and then felt a sharp pain on his chest. When he looked, he had 7 distinct claw marks on his skin. These marks were not normal. They healed completely in just 2 days. Scared for their lives, Donna finally decided to seek help from real experts, Ed and Lorraine Warren. When Ed and Lorraine Warren arrived at the apartment, they immediately knew the situation was very serious. Lorraine, a gifted clairvoyant, sensed a dark and inhuman presence. Ed, a demonologist, listened to Donna's story carefully. They explained to the terrified girls that they had made a terrible mistake. There was no spirit of a little girl named Annabelle Higgins. That was a lie. Spirits of dead children do not have the power to do such violent things. They cannot possess objects. The Warrens revealed the shocking truth. The doll was being manipulated by a demonic entity. This demon had lied about being a child spirit to gain their sympathy. The demon's real goal was not to possess the doll. The doll was just a tool, an instrument. The demon's ultimate prize was a human soul. By giving permission for the spirit to stay, Donna had unknowingly invited this evil entity into her life. The demon was now trying to attach itself to a human host. The claw marks on Lou's chest were a clear sign of its intentions. This was a classic case of demonic infestation, which would eventually lead to possession. Ed and Lorraine knew they had to act fast. They performed an exorcism on the apartment to cleanse it of the negative energy and decided to take the doll with them for everyone's safety. The Warrens knew that the doll could not be destroyed. Destroying the doll would not destroy the entity attached to it. It would only set it free to find another object or person. So they decided to build a special prison for it. They brought Annabelle to their home in Connecticut, which also housed their occult museum, a collection of haunted and cursed objects from their cases. They built a specially consecrated glass case for Annabelle. A priest was called to bless the doll with holy water and perform a binding ritual. The case was sealed, and a warning sign was placed on it. Warning: positively do not open. This was Annabelle's new home, her prison. Even inside the locked case, Annabelle's evil influence was felt. The Warrens reported that the doll would still sometimes move or appear in different corners of her box. The museum was full of dark energy, but Annabelle was considered the most dangerous item. There are many stories of people who did not respect the warning. One young man who visited the museum mocked the doll, tapping on the glass and challenging the demon to do something. On his way home, he lost control of his motorcycle and crashed into a tree, dying instantly. His girlfriend, who was with him, survived but said that just before the crash, they were laughing about the doll. For many years, the world, felt a little safer knowing Annabelle was locked away. The Warrens Occult Museum, which is now run by their son-in-law Tony Spera, was always a place of dark fascination and, honestly, a pretty serious warning. But in early 2025, everything changed. The museum had already been closed to the public for quite some time. Then a rumor started online. It was just a small whisper at first, just a post on a small forum. But it spread like fire. The rumor was simple and, terrifying. Annabelle was gone. She was no longer in her glass case. At first, people thought it was just a joke, maybe a hoax to scare folks. But then the silence from the museum's caretakers became, deafening. Soon the news was everywhere. Major news channels started reporting on the missing doll. Hashtags like #AnnabelleMissing and #AnnabelleIsFree started trending worldwide on social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram. The story became a global phenomenon. People were both scared and fascinated. Was it true? Did someone break into the highly secured museum and steal the world's most dangerous doll? Or was the story even more frightening? Did Annabelle escape on her own? The lack of any official statement from the family only added more fuel to the fire. The world was holding its breath, waiting for an answer that never came. The mystery deepened with viral claims and supposed sightings. A grainy photo from a security camera in Brazil appeared online, showing a dark figure in a car with something that looked like a doll on the passenger seat. A tourist in Paris claimed he saw a Raggedy Ann doll sitting alone on a bench near the Eiffel Tower, which disappeared when he looked again. These stories were impossible to verify, but they terrified millions. The line between reality and internet fiction became blurry. Every old doll sitting in an antique shop suddenly looked suspicious. Every shadow in a dark corner held a new kind of fear for people. The fear was not just in other countries, it reached India too. People started sharing stories on WhatsApp. A family in Mumbai reported that their daughter's old doll started moving at night. A group of college students in Delhi claimed they heard a child's laughter near a cemetery late at night and found a small red ribbon tied to the gate, similar to the one in Annabelle's hair. These were just stories, of course, with no proof. But in a world gripped by fear, these stories felt real. The legend of Annabelle was no longer confined to a museum in America. It had become a global nightmare, a ghost haunting the digital world. So what really happened? How could a doll, locked in a blessed case, inside a secure building, just disappear? There are many theories, and honestly, each one is more frightening than the last. The most logical theory is that someone stole her. Maybe a foolish collector, a cultist, or just a thrill-seeker who did not understand the danger. They might have broken into the closed museum, managed to bypass the security, and opened the sacred case. If this is true, then a terrible evil has been unleashed upon an unsuspecting person, and through them, upon the world. The thief may have gotten more than they bargained for. A doll is easy to steal, but a demon is impossible to control. Another theory is, even more disturbing. It suggests that no one broke the seal from the outside. The power of the entity inside the doll grew stronger over the years. It waited patiently, feeding on the fear of the millions who knew its story. Maybe the holy blessings on the case weakened over time. Perhaps the demon finally became powerful enough to break the seal from within. This theory suggests that Annabelle did not need a human to free her. She freed herself. This is a chilling thought because it means she is now an independent agent of evil, moving through the world with a purpose we cannot possibly understand. Her escape was not an accident. It was part of her plan. The most terrifying theory, however, is that Annabelle never really disappeared. She simply moved. The doll itself might still be in its case, but the demonic entity attached to it has found a new way to travel. In our modern world, we are all connected through the internet. The entity could be using this network as a new home, a new way to reach people. Every time we share her picture, every time we say her name, we give her energy. We invite her into our lives. The viral videos, the stories, the fear, they are all part of her new game. She is no longer in one place. She is everywhere at once. So, the question remains, Annabelle Kaya Wapas Aa Gai? Has she returned? Maybe she was never truly gone. Maybe her prison was never the glass case, but our own belief that she was contained. Now that a seed of doubt has been planted, the fear is growing, and fear is what she feeds on. So, the next time you are alone in your room and you see a shadow move, or you hear a strange sound, ask yourself a question. Is it just your imagination? Or is Annabelle playing a new game with a new friend? Be careful, because you never know who or what might be watching you right now from the corner of your own screen.